it's cold. Oh, I wish I was in Florida. Well, hello again. Welcome back. As you can see, my pickup pile, people are picking their stuff up as fast as I fix it. Last week in the lineup, we had a couple units here for recoil repair. This hedge clipper and that MS250. I've repaired both of them, and I did film it. I don't know if you want to see that. It was kind of funny, the chainsaw especially. That 461 that we did a video on maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago belongs to the electric company with the impulse line off. That's it. They just haven't picked it up yet. Maybe they won't pick it up. Maybe they're donating it to the channel for a rebuild. That'd be interesting. Well, let's see what we have down here. A Husky 262 picked up off the side of the street. We're going to have a look at that one right now. A couple steel 201s, missing a handle, won't start. A 170 for a bar and chain. A 291 that doesn't run correctly. A 261 with a blown up clutch. A 291 missing a bar nut. An Echo that won't start. And a TS360 won't start, blowing fuel out the exhaust. While I'm standing here, there's this pole saw you've seen sitting here. See, that's cracked. I've went ahead and ordered parts for this. That's why it's still sitting over here. They're kind of awkward to store. So, let's get on my workbench. Good morning. Welcome back to my workbench. If you're new here, my name is Erica. Today in the bench, we have a Husky 262 XP. The customer who dropped this off said he found this for free on Facebook Marketplace. There was about 500 people racing to get to it, and he somehow got there first. He knows nothing about it. He wants to know, will it run? And if it does, put a new bar and chain on it if needed. So that's all we know about this saw. I'm not really familiar with this saw. I don't work on a lot of Huskies. But what I do know about this model is that it's from the early 90s. It was made in Sweden, and it is a 62cc saw. So that's all I have to work with. We're going to do some investigating here and see why this saw was free and if this saw will run. So come along with me. Let's jump into it. Well, here we are with this 262 XP Husky. Like I said, I am not familiar with this saw. I do work on Huskies. They get dropped off here sometimes. I mostly see still, but I will take these in when they come in. And if you guys have an interest in this sort of thing, I will make videos about it. So XP, I don't know what that stands for. Extra power? Extra parts? I don't know. Scott from the Greasy Shop Rag would know a lot more about this chainsaw than I do. Probably should send it down his way, but we're in different countries, so that probably won't work. So let's pull this steel bar cover off this thing. So this chain has been sharpened, but the rakers have never been touched. And this bar is completely wore out. I don't know if you can see the sideways movement. The groove in that bar is just wore out. I think the guy who dropped this off kind of figured that though, because he did mention it needing a bar and chain if this thing runs. You see a rotted elastic band hanging out from underneath that fuel cap. I'm guessing that was a seal or something to keep the gas from leaking out of it. It's interesting. On and off. Looks like the choke switch. I don't know what that hole there, I don't know what would have been in there. On off switch, like heated switch maybe? I don't know. I'm sure someone on here knows what's supposed to be there. Maybe nothing. Those burnuts look strange. Does that look normal? Like in behind those bar nuts, just like the cover is just looks, something just doesn't look right, but maybe that's all normal. I don't know. So the chain brake is out in the set position, I think. The chain moves. Jeez. Okay, now the chain brake is released. Brake set. The chain still moves. Okay, so something's wrong with that. So far, I'm seeing just some weird little things about this. Let's get the bar and chain off this thing. Make it a little bit easier to look at. Okay, enough. Something look strange here. Okay. Well, that was easy. No wonder that wouldn't come off. Oh, and the brake band, there's nothing left of it. That doesn't pass the test. Is this normal wear? Like I'm just not familiar. And I'm not being sarcastic either. I'm just curious. Is this just, did he just not maintain this, or what did he do to this? How does this happen? Scott, tell me what you think. What happened here? I wonder what else we're going to find. Let's go ahead and take the bar and chain off this. I'm just going to throw some gloves on. I don't feel like getting cut open today. Where is the tensioner? Oh, at the front there. So that there is what you call an outboard clutch. On most of the steels I show you, you're seeing an inboard clutch. So that's why it looks different. The rim sprocket, it's going to be hard for you to see, but it's in behind there. And it is completely worn out. So I've seen a few reasons so far as to why this saw was free. What have we found so far? Broken chain brake, a bent bar stud, a clutch cover, brake band, all that stuff in the clutch cover. That whole thing needs replacing. Bar and chain are completely worn out. The rim sprocket's worn out. The chain catcher is severed off. So let's keep going here and see what else we can find. Do I dare take that fuel cap off? Here's the rubber band I was telling you about earlier. Oh, the smell. Lord have mercy. Oh boy. Okay, so we're starting with a clean container. It's just really old, really stinky fuel. That band, was that supposed to keep the fuel in the gas tank? That's probably why there's only a little bit of fuel in it. The tank's probably leaking and that elastic band just wasn't cutting it. So the fuel line looks like it's been replaced with, it looks like a piece of Tygon or something like that in there. It's not the original fuel line. Like a clear hose of some sort. I don't have a fuel cap for this thing, and it won't hold fuel, so I won't be trying to start it. Let's take this air filter cover off. So I've seen much dirtier air filters than that. Let's pull that plug out, take a look at it, and we'll take a look down into the piston and cylinder. That's an NGK. It looks like a newer plug, but turning a little bit white at the tip. Well, let me grab my camera and we'll take a quick look down the spark plug hole. Well, you've seen what that looks like in there. There's definitely something wrong. There's damage to the cylinder. Let's do a compression test. So this isn't really that good. Um, when this saw was dropped off, I was out in the front that day, and I spoke to the kid who brought it in, and I said, "What do you know about it?" And he said, "It was given to me for free. All I know is the guy who gave it to me said it's an excellent working chainsaw." So I'm sure this was an excellent working chainsaw back in its day, but I think its day has passed. I get the feeling, the way he was talking, that he kind of expected it was going to be kind of like fresh fuel, clean the air filter, tweak the carb, bar chain, and away he goes. But it's just not that easy. We found quite a few issues here: chain brake broken, bar stud, clutch cover, brake band issues, the bar and chain, which he already knew about. Rim sprocket is worn out, the chain catcher's gone, the fuel cap's leaking, the fuel in it is rotten. It just keeps going and going. So ultimately, it's up to him where we go from here. I'm going to go see if I can reach him on the phone, see what he wants me to do from here, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I just got the phone with him and explained to him everything that I've found here, what's broken, what needs replacing, the cylinder, the compression. And he said he's not handy, he doesn't tinker, he knows nothing about chainsaws or small engines, and all he was hoping for was just a small, good working chainsaw that he could cut the odd limb off with. So he said to trash this thing. I'm not trashing you. I've pulled the muffler off. I'll just show you in that side there. Let me grab my camera. So before I send this back to the parts crypt, I would like to pressure vac test it. My OCD does not like sending chainsaws back there without being fully diagnosed first. So I don't know if I have the proper adapters to pressure vac test it. I'm gonna go have a look, and if I do, I'll get all set up here, and we'll do this quick before I box it up. I was able to find a block for my exhaust port and for my intake. Spark plug back in, decompression has a plug in it. So we have a vacuum leak and a pressure leak. Let's see if I can show you closer here. Right there, where the intake and cylinder meet, there's a gasket in there. We have a leak there. There you go, you can see it. I took it apart to look at that gasket. The gasket is intact. I put it back together. I cannot get that leak to stop. I don't know if this is a common issue. I don't know if those gaskets need replacing from time to time. Scott at the Greasy Shop Rag might know a lot more about this than me, but there's what I found. So I'm going to box this saw up, label everything that I know about it, and put it back into the crypt. So there's this piece of, I think it's an isolator, and it was around this. Like it just crumbled. It's just in pieces, brittle. I'm guessing this has been really, really hot. I just looked that part up. It's called a seal collar. Yeah, it didn't make it. So I'm going to take my my blocking tools off of this thing and get this thing boxed up. Well, here we are yet again with a chainsaw spreading pieces across my table. This time it's a Husky 262 XP. So this chainsaw was dropped off by a young gentleman who received this for free off of Facebook Marketplace. So he knew nothing about it other than he was told that it was an excellent working chainsaw. I'm sure at one time it was a great working chainsaw. It probably has a ton of hours on it. I think it's done a ton of work, but at this point, it needs a lot of work. And this gentleman doesn't want to put time or much money into it. He thought it might be something simple, bar and chain, fresh fuel, clean the air filter, and it's just not that simple. So he said to throw the saw in the trash. So obviously, I'm not going to throw this in the trash. I'm going to keep it. I'm going to box it up, label it, what I know about it, where it came from. I'll put it out here just behind me, just in case I need it. Maybe I'll want a part from it. Maybe someone else will want a part from it. Or maybe this winter, the work will dry up and I'll need something to work on and I'll turn this into a Husky 262 project. Who knows what'll happen? So I guess that's it for the Husky 262. I'm going to box it up, send it out back. If you enjoy my videos, if you find any value in them, or maybe you just find them entertaining, please subscribe to the channel and like this video. It helps me out and it helps the channel out. I have a whole bunch of chainsaws over there waiting for me. I'm going to go make an extra large cup of coffee and get on to the next chainsaw. Thank you so much for watching.